13 shocking one-of-a-kind archaeological discoveries in China that shook the world. When people think of China, they often picture the Forbidden City, the Great Wall, or legendary tales steeped in mysticism. But beneath the dusty layers of time, China, a land with a cultural history stretching back thousands of years, has long been a treasure trove for astonishing archaeological discoveries. Yet sometimes, what emerges from the earth isn't just historical artifacts, but chilling mysteries that send shivers down the spines of scientists. Can you imagine finding a coffin inside an ancient tomb that appears to bleed on its own? Or a mummy so perfectly preserved that its skin remains soft and supple, even after more than 2,000 years? This isn't science fiction, it's reality, recorded in detail and photographed, leaving many researchers haunted for years afterward. Each discovery you're about to see is more than just a piece of history, it's a mysterious whisper from the past. Ancient beliefs, eerie burial customs, or even traces of bloody rituals that history may have deliberately tried to erase. Are you ready to unlock the door to a world of haunting archaeological mysteries? If you are, then let's begin with the first discovery. The ancient tomb that made construction workers tremble and collapse to the ground. There's a saying that goes, "Life is full of strange and unexpected events no one can ever foresee." But what would you think if one day, your very own name appeared on a centuries-old tombstone buried deep underground? Sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, doesn't it? Yet this eerie story is completely real, and it sent an entire construction site in China into sheer panic. It all began on a seemingly ordinary morning in March 2018 at a construction site in China. The workers, including a young man on the crew, were busy under the sun, preparing the foundation for a new building. Everything was going according to plan, until the excavator dug deeper and unearthed a strange structure, an ancient tomb. Shocked but intrigued, the workers quickly gathered around the site. The thought that treasure might be hidden inside immediately crossed their minds. After all, according to long-held beliefs in many Asian cultures, ancient tombs, especially large ones, were often the resting places of nobles or high-ranking individuals, who were buried with valuables like gold, antiques, and precious artifacts. Excitement began to build, but within minutes the upbeat atmosphere turned heavy and chilling. One of the workers approached the tombstone to take a closer look. Suddenly, his face went pale, his whole body started shaking, and he collapsed on the spot. His co-workers rushed to help him, and when they looked at the tombstone, they were left speechless. Carved clearly into the ancient stone was the full name of that very same construction worker. Not just the surname, but his entire name, down to the exact spelling. A chilling silence fell over the site. Everyone felt a cold shiver run down their spines. No one dared to speak, but the fear in their eyes was unmistakable. Was this a sign? A warning from the afterlife? The bizarre story quickly spread across the site, and understandably, the worker whose name was on the tombstone fell into complete panic. No one wanted to keep digging, and the site managers had no choice but to call in archaeologists to investigate the situation. The final conclusion, thankfully, brought relief to everyone. According to the archaeologists, the tomb belonged to a high-ranking official from ancient times. The name match was purely coincidental and held no spiritual or supernatural significance whatsoever. After receiving a full explanation, the worker gradually calmed down and returned to his job as usual. Still, he admitted that the experience would forever be etched in his memory, because coming face to face with your own tombstone in broad daylight is a shock few could ever imagine. The story didn't just rattle the construction crew, it also caught fire on social media, sparking widespread discussion. It brought back an eerie but familiar question. In a world of over 7 billion people, how many might be walking around with your exact name? And if you were ever to come across that name in a very unexpected situation, how would you react? Have you ever met someone with the same name as yours? Or found yourself in a bizarre situation like this one? If so, don't hesitate to share your story in the comments below. A 2,000-year-old astronomical calendar, found inside an ancient Chinese tomb. Have you ever wondered how ancient people kept track of time before modern technology existed? During an archaeological excavation in southwestern China, an astonishing discovery revealed the answer, one that left the global archaeological community in awe. A remarkably well-preserved astronomical calendar, estimated to be 2,000 years old, was unearthed in a tomb dating back to the Western Han Dynasty. Buried deep beneath the soil in Wulong district, Over 870 miles southwest of Beijing, this tomb was far more than just a simple architectural structure. It served as a treasure trove, preserving countless valuable artifacts. Among them, the most remarkable find was a set of 23 small rectangular wooden pieces, each measuring about 1 inch wide and 4 inches long. Carved into each piece were finely inscribed characters representing the heavenly stems and earthly branches system, an ancient Chinese calendrical and astrological framework that originated more than 3,600 years ago during the Shang dynasty around 1600 BCE. This system was not merely a method for recording dates. It was intricately tied to astrology, fate, and the movement of celestial bodies. What made this calendar especially fascinating was its practical design. One wooden piece likely represented the current year, while the other 22 served as tools to calculate or identify any year within the 60-year traditional Chinese calendrical cycle. In essence, this was an advanced reference calendar for its time, allowing users to easily determine years in relation to the cycle. While previous discoveries have shown that ancient Chinese recorded information on materials like bamboo or wood, this is the first time that wooden pieces containing a complete astronomical calendar system have been found within a tomb. This groundbreaking find has sparked curiosity not only about how ancient people measured time, but also about the tomb's occupant, clearly an important figure in ancient Chinese society. According to archaeologist Ming, the wooden tomb was exceptionally well preserved, making it one of the rarest finds in southwestern China. Alongside the calendar, archaeologists also uncovered jade, bronze artifacts, and other intricately crafted items, indicating that the tomb belonged to someone of high status, possibly a government official or a powerful figure during the prosperous era of the Western Han. Naturally, the discovery attracted the attention of more than just archaeologists. The astronomical community also took great interest. Ed Krupp, director of the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, emphasized that this was the first and only known example of a calendar system being inscribed on wooden pieces. He noted that this wasn't just an ordinary calendar. It functioned more like a time-referencing toolkit that could be applied to any year within the 60-year cycle. This discovery not only expands our understanding of ancient Chinese astronomical systems, but it also highlights the tomb's cultural and historical significance, a vault preserving knowledge, technology, and the spirit of a sophisticated civilization. It stands as living proof of timeless intelligence and the sustainable development of a mighty civilization. Can you imagine? 2,000 years ago, the Chinese had already developed a tool not just to mark time, but to align their lives and destinies with the cycles of the cosmos. Now that's genius, isn't it? The 3,000-year-old bronze dragon discovered in a Shanxi tomb, China. Have you ever heard of an ancient treasure being unexpectedly discovered right in the middle of a field while a farmer was plowing? If not, let me take you back to 1959. That year, a farmer in Taohua Village, Shilu County, Luliang City, Shanxi Province, China, was out in the field with his buffalo when he noticed a dark hole in the ground. Upon closer inspection, he realized it was an ancient tomb and quickly reported it to the local Cultural Relics Bureau. While waiting for the archaeological team to arrive, some curious locals climbed down into the tomb hoping to find treasure. However, before they could make it far inside, they were startled to see the soil beneath the tomb had turned a deep red, almost the color of blood. Terrified, they immediately fled the scene, not daring to look back. When the Shanxi Provincial Archaeological team arrived and investigated the site, they confirmed that the tomb was large and built to a high standard. The red soil, they explained, came from the presence of cinnabar, a mineral often used in ancient Chinese burials. The tomb dated back approximately 3,000 years to the Shangzhou period. Over the course of more than 20 continuous days and nights of excavation, archaeologists uncovered more than 50 bronze artifacts from the Shang and Zhou dynasties. These included a complete set of bronze bells, 7 bronze cauldrons, and numerous other bronze items of various sizes. Based on the artifacts recovered, the team concluded the tomb likely belonged to a noble from the late Shang to early Zhou period. About a month later, the team had finished sorting and packing all the cultural relics to be transported to a laboratory for cleaning and restoration. Just as they were about to leave, it suddenly began to pour rain. One archaeologist remembered that a certain item still hadn't been retrieved from inside the tomb, so he and a colleague braved the rain and re-entered the site. As the rain intensified, Water began to accumulate rapidly in the tomb. Within minutes, the water level rose to knee height, forcing the two archaeologists to move cautiously, step by step. Suddenly, one of them tripped over something submerged beneath the water and almost fell. Fortunately, his colleague managed to catch him in time. Curious about what he had stumbled on, especially since the tomb had supposedly been cleared, he reached down into the murky water and began to feel around. Eventually, he pulled out an object he would never forget, a bronze dragon with fierce, sharp teeth. Stunned, he rushed outside holding the artifact and shouted, "Hey! I found a treasure! Everyone, come look!" The rest of the team, who had been busy loading equipment, dropped everything and gathered around. What they saw was a bronze dragon unlike anything they had ever encountered. Its form was strange, with intricate carvings that were truly extraordinary. One expert on site immediately advised, "We need to alert the police as soon as possible. There may still be undiscovered relics below." To prevent any remaining artifacts from being looted, the archaeologists quickly filed a request with the local Public Security Bureau for protection. Soon after, a team of officers arrived and took turns guarding the tomb. Upon further inspection, the dragon was determined to be a bronze vessel, made of greenish bronze. It measured about 17 inches long and 5 inches wide. The belly was rounded and bulging, with a flat-cut tail. On its back, there was a hook shaped like a roof tile. Altogether, it resembled a dragon boat anchored in still water, an extremely unique design. None of the archaeologists had ever seen a dragon-shaped artifact like it. Based on the tomb's layout and burial style, the team concluded that the bronze dragon was actually a wine vessel from the Shang dynasty. Even more impressively, it was made of green bronze, a highly valued alloy. Given its material and age, experts declared the vessel to be of immense historical and cultural value, worthy of being classified as a national treasure. It was later named Longxingzun, meaning dragon-shaped wine vessel. In an effort to trace the origin of the Longxingzun, the archaeological team gathered clues from across the country. Eventually, they identified its original owner, the father-in-law of Zhang Jia, a founding statesman of the Zhou dynasty in the 12th century BCE and ruler of the ancient state of Qi, which existed from the Western Zhou to the Warring States period. According to legend, Zhang Jia once hosted King Wu of Zhou at his home. During the banquet, as food and wine were being served, the king was captivated by a dragon-shaped wine vessel hanging from a rope in the center of the room. Its posture was regal, and with just a slight lift of its tail, fine wine would pour from its mouth. King Wu was fascinated and asked Zhang Jia where the vessel had come from. Zhang hesitated and tried to avoid answering. Offended, the king stood up to leave. Zhang quickly stopped him and explained that the vessel had been made by his father-in-law, who created it as a memorial to innocent people killed by King Zhou of Shang, a notoriously tyrannical ruler. Afterward, Zhang's father-in-law gifted the vessel to him, and upon his death, Zhang had buried it in his tomb. With this, archaeologists confirmed that the tomb discovered in Shanxi belonged to Zhang Jia's father-in-law. The tomb and its contents are of immense research value to historians and archaeologists alike. As for the dragon-shaped wine vessel, it was later classified as a first-class national cultural relic by the National Cultural Heritage Administration of China. It is strictly forbidden to be displayed outside of the country. Today, it is housed in the Shanxi Museum, prominently displayed in the main hall as one of its crown jewels. If you ever get the chance, it's absolutely worth visiting to witness this remarkable piece of ancient Chinese craftsmanship for yourself. The 1,000-year-old wall. You've probably heard of the Silk Road, a crossroads between East and West where ancient civilizations once met, traded, and exchanged cultures. Recently, archaeologists made a remarkable discovery along this historic trade route, a special remnant from the legendary kingdom of Lolan. Located in what is now the northeastern part of the Lop Desert in Xinjiang, northwestern China, this ancient site is slowly revealing its secrets through meticulous excavations. According to experts from the Xinjiang Institute of Archaeology, the newly uncovered fortress wall is circular in shape, with a diameter of up to 984 feet. Although only ruins remain, the foundation of the wall is still clearly visible, measuring between 7.2 and 8.9 feet wide. The remaining sections of the wall stand as high as 8.2 feet, offering a vivid glimpse into the scale and strength of this once imposing structure. These walls are not merely remnants of an ancient civilization. They are powerful evidence of the Lulin kingdom's prosperity. Strategically located along the Silk Road, Lulin played a vital role in intercontinental trade and cultural exchange. What's especially noteworthy is that archaeologists didn't just uncover the fortress ruins, they also discovered a wealth of valuable artifacts in nearby tombs. These include wooden plates, bronze mirrors, wooden combs, and textiles, precious items that offer valuable insights into the daily life and culture of the Lulin people. Through carbon dating, archaeologists have estimated that this area dates back to the late Eastern Han Dynasty, 25 to 220 AD, a critical period in Chinese history. Historical records indicate that the Kingdom of Lulin emerged around the 2nd century BCE, gaining prominence as a major transit hub on the Silk Road. However, due to its harsh geography, surrounded by desert, and various challenges such as water scarcity and warfare, Lulin was forced to relocate its capital several times. In 108 BCE, the Han Dynasty defeated Lulin and turned it into a vassal state, effectively making it a puppet kingdom under Han control. Eventually, Lulin vanished entirely during the Tang dynasty. The ruins of Lulin first gained attention in 1900 when Swedish explorer Sven Hedin discovered them. His findings fascinated not only archaeologists but also history enthusiasts around the world. Back then, Hedin found a square-shaped wall about 35 miles away from the newly discovered circular one, indicating that much of Lulin's legacy is still buried beneath the sands, waiting to be unearthed. Future excavations are expected to reveal even more significant discoveries. These digs have received strong support from the Chinese government, with dedicated funding allocated to advance archaeological research. Items such as Han Dynasty coins, tools, and textiles bearing Greco-Roman designs have opened new perspectives on cultural interactions between major civilizations of the ancient world. Once an essential node on the Silk Road, the Kingdom of Lulin has left behind invaluable traces of a glorious era. From fortress ruins to precious artifacts, every discovery reinforces the idea that Lulin was not just a trading post, but a far-reaching civilization with a profound legacy. And who knows? Perhaps in the near future, new discoveries buried in the desert sands will help us better understand a forgotten chapter of history. A skeleton with a severely deformed forehead. On a mountainside in Liqiao Town, Henan Province, China, there is a massive earthen mound measuring about 197 feet in diameter and 49 feet high. In 1995, a team of archaeologists from Henan Province discovered an ancient tomb at this site. The depth of the tomb is approximately 18.4 feet from the surface to the top of the coffin and about 31.5 feet from the surface to the bottom. Surrounding the tomb are 7 layers of soil, with each step measuring 2.6 feet in width and height and maintaining a slope of roughly 33 feet. The burial mound was filled with a fine, compact, reddish-brown soil known as 5-color soil. After digging just about 4 inches into the ground, the archaeologists uncovered wooden spades, shovel handles, bamboo baskets, and other ancient household items. Part of the tomb had collapsed, and at its center lay the coffin. During the excavation, the team found multiple signs that tomb robbers had broken in to steal valuables and grave goods, most likely during the Eastern Han Dynasty. Despite the looting, many artifacts remained intact, including swords, arrowheads, wooden clubs, chariots, pottery, ceremonial robes, armor, white jade figurines, and amethyst crystals. Some of the artifacts had inscriptions that helped experts decode the identity of the tomb's owner. One weapon bore the words, "The halberd used by Lord Pingye Juncheng." Based on this and other inscriptions, archaeologists believe the tomb belonged to Pingye Juncheng, a nobleman who was granted land and title in Pingyu, or Pingye County, part of the ancient state of Chu. His personal name was Cheng, and he was therefore known as Lord Pingye Juncheng. Additionally, bamboo slips found in the tomb reveal that Lord Pingye Juncheng had close ties with high-ranking figures of the time, including King Wen of Chu, King Zhao of Chu, King Hui of Chu, Lord Pingye Wenjun, and Pingye Zixi. In the western chamber of the tomb, archaeologists uncovered 7 skeletons, along with jade ornaments. These individuals were likely the personal maidservants of the tomb's owner and were buried at around 20 years of age. One skeleton, in particular, caught the researchers' attention: the remains of a woman with a severely deformed forehead. Her frontal bone was grotesquely misshapen, likely the result of tightly wrapping cloth around her head for an extended period. According to experts, this was an ancient beauty practice. In those times, women would bind their heads with silk cloth for long durations in order to reshape their foreheads and skulls into a more slender form. This was considered an ideal of beauty, one that captivated royalty and nobility. A small forehead and a narrow head were thought to be highly attractive. Due to long-term head binding, this particular woman's skull became even more severely deformed than others. What do you think of this bizarre beauty tradition? Personally, I find it absolutely crazy, to be honest. The giant dragon fossil. Since ancient times, dragons have been mystical symbols in many cultures, often depicted as large, powerful creatures with magical abilities. However, most people have long believed dragons were merely products of imagination, crafted through folklore and myth. But in 1996, a groundbreaking discovery challenged that belief. In Guanling Miao Autonomous County, located in Anshun City, Guizhou Province, China, archaeologists unearthed a fully intact fossilized skeleton of what appears to be a dragon, completely transforming how we view this legendary creature. The fossil measures approximately 25 feet long and features striking characteristics: two sharp horns and large upturned nostrils, closely matching descriptions found in traditional folklore. The dragon's head is roughly triangular in shape, with an elongated mouth, offering a remarkably lifelike image of this mysterious being. The two pointed horns curve slightly upward from the top of its skull, creating a symmetrical and graceful appearance that closely mirrors legendary depictions of dragons. This marks the first time a dragon fossil with horns has ever been discovered, raising fascinating questions about the origins and potential existence of this mythical species. The discovery not only holds significant scientific value, but also helps researchers explore deeper connections between ancient creatures and the myths humanity has passed down through generations. Today, the fossil is on display at the Museum of Ancient Fossil Life in Anshun, where it draws both curious visitors and researchers from around the world. It's fair to say that what this dragon skeleton leaves behind is more than just evidence of a creature we once believed to be purely fictional. It sparks curiosity and a sense of wonder about the mysteries of the natural world we've yet to fully understand. Do dragons truly exist, or are they simply remnants of a mythical past waiting to be deciphered? That's a hard question to answer, isn't it? The giant, 24.6 feet sword, found beneath a riverbed. Have you ever heard of legendary ancient swords like the Phoenix Treasure Sword, Green Dragon Sword, or the dragon-slaying saber from Chinese historical tales? Probably yes, but have you ever heard of a sword 24.6 feet long, weighing over 3,395 pounds, discovered beneath a dried-up riverbed? Probably not. Let's dive into the fascinating story of a gigantic sword unearthed from the bed of the Sai River in Yuncheng County, Shandong Province, a one-of-a-kind artifact shrouded in mystery. In the spring of 1988, the Sai River suddenly ran dry. Villagers from Daqiao village seized the opportunity to extract sand for construction. While digging about 3.3 feet below the mud, a local man stumbled upon a strange object. Initially thought to be a lump of iron, further digging, with the help of others, revealed something astonishing: an enormous sword buried deep in the soil for generations. The villagers immediately contacted local cultural experts. Upon examination, the sword measured 24.6 feet in length and approximately 3,395 pounds, an unimaginable size for any traditional weapon. Although the blade had rusted over time, the intricate carvings were still visible, most notably the image of a qi xie, a mythical wolf-bodied beast from Chinese culture, symbolizing power and authority. The sword's hilt remained well preserved, with the inscription Kangxi Year 56, indicating it was forged during the height of the Qing dynasty, around 1717. Naturally, many wondered, could such a massive sword have ever been used in battle? The answer is an obvious no. With its enormous size and weight, it would be impossible to wield or swing in combat. So what was the true purpose of this massive sword? To uncover the truth, researchers turned to historical records. A document titled Gazetteer of Yangtze County noted that in the summer of Kangxi's 50th year, 1712, the lower reaches of the Sai River experienced severe flooding. The floodwaters were so intense they even broke the base of a bridge crossing the river. At that time, Jin Yifeng, the county magistrate of Yuncheng, not only funded the bridge repairs, but also commissioned the creation of a massive sword featuring the qi xie. His purpose? To suppress the waters, a traditional belief that placing a symbolic object could subdue natural disasters and protect the local population. The qi xie, considered a child of the dragon in Chinese mythology, symbolized power and protection. The sword, therefore, was a spiritual talisman, embodying mystical strength to ward off floods. It was planted upright beneath the river, serving as a guardian of the region. However, over time, raging waters swept the sword away, burying it beneath the riverbed, where it lay undisturbed for centuries. Upon learning the sword's historical and cultural significance, the villagers of Daqiao grew concerned. They believed that if the sword wasn't returned to the river, floods might return. Many called on authorities to rebury the sword to continue its protective role. However, experts reassured the public that the idea of using such objects to suppress water was superstitious. Moreover, leaving the sword submerged would cause irreversible damage to this national treasure. The 2,500-year-old tomb complex with 47 rare non-mu wooden coffins. The journey to uncover ancient history is always full of surprises and mysteries, and the story of the 2,500-year-old tomb complex in Lijia Village, Jing'an County, Jiangxi Province, China, is a vivid testament to that. In 2008, Chinese archaeologists launched a promising excavation project at this site, and their discoveries amazed both the archaeological community and the public. First of all, the size of the tomb complex alone was astonishing. The tomb measured about 37.7 feet wide, 52.5 feet long, and 9.8 feet deep, a massive scale belonging to the Eastern Zhou dynasty, from 770 to 221 BCE. But the most remarkable feature was the number 47 coffins, all crafted from non-mu wood, a rare and precious type of timber renowned not only for its durability and excellent resistance to decay, but also for its distinctive fragrance, which made it highly valued among ancient Chinese woods. From the very beginning of the excavation, the first 9 coffins were opened. Although some had suffered damage over time and due to tomb robbers, the historical value they held was undeniable. Inside the coffins, relatively intact human remains were found, along with many valuable artifacts such as bronze items, gold, silk, porcelain, and jade, opening a precious window into the culture and burial customs of the Eastern Zhou period. The coffins were designed with uniform dimensions, ranging from 8.2 to 9.2 feet long and about 1.6 feet wide, arranged in a tightly ordered sequence inside the tomb complex. This not only reflected respect, but also a deliberate arrangement, revealing ancient insights into the spiritual world and the connection among those buried together in the sacred space. Mr. Fan Changsheng, director of the Jiangxi Provincial Archaeological Institute, stated that all the coffins have now been transferred to a climate-controlled preservation facility with strict temperature and environmental monitoring systems to ensure the best conservation of these valuable relics. This effort not only helps preserve the cultural heritage intact, but also supports in-depth research to understand the causes of death of the tomb occupants, the timing of their burial, and the reasons they were interred together. However, despite the successful excavation, many mysteries around this tomb complex remain unsolved. Over millennia, much of the evidence has faded, and only a small portion of the valuable artifacts remain. Therefore, studying and analyzing every detail to shed light on the full story will be a long and challenging journey. Let's patiently wait for the latest updates as new information emerges. The Western Han Golden Horse, an incredibly valuable treasure. In the 1980s, there was a small farming village in Shanxi Province, China, where most people made their living by agriculture. One day, an elderly farmer accidentally dug up a metal object. Busy with his work, he set the strange item aside. After finishing, he checked it carefully and noticed a golden shine emerging from the mud. This discovery amazed the villagers, who quickly reported it to the relevant authorities. When experts arrived and began excavating the site, they found a tomb dating back to the Western Han dynasty. Among the artifacts uncovered, the metal object the farmer found proved to be the most valuable, a gold-plated horse sculpture estimated to be worth about $75 million. The Western Han Golden Horse weighs approximately 79 pounds, stands about 24.4 inches tall and measures around 30 inches in length. The statue's posture is graceful, its proportions balanced, and its craftsmanship exquisite, radiating a uniquely majestic spirit. Remarkably, it still shines brightly after thousands of years. This golden horse was made with extraordinary precision. Experts note it has 6 teeth, prominent rabbit-like front teeth, dragon-shaped eyes, fine hair beneath its ears, striped patterns on its neck, a curved belly, firm muscles, a braided tail, and anatomically accurate muscles and bones carved in detail. In Chinese historical records, biographies, and literature, the image of the golden horse or Kim Ma is well known. But until now, no one had ever seen an original model. This excavation marked the first time such a golden horse was uncovered. The horse's calm yet striking appearance is rendered naturally and simply, yet the overall effect is lifelike and vibrant. The statue is not made of pure gold, but rather coated with a thin layer of gold plating, which still makes it extremely valuable. Why is that? According to researchers, the horse's core is made of bronze with a gold-plated exterior, giving it a brilliant golden hue. This is due to the ancient gilding technique used, creating a shiny, durable golden surface. This craftsmanship highlights the perfection achieved by artisans of the time in metal melting and gold plating. Thus, this artifact is a rare national treasure with immense cultural and historical significance. It witnessed the glorious peak of ancient Chinese art and craftsmanship. At the same time, the golden horse reflects the exceptional intelligence and skills of ancient artisans and demonstrates the flourishing civilization China had during the Western Han period. The discovery of the golden horse caused a huge sensation at the time. This Western Han gold-plated horse is a rare cultural relic of China, carrying immense historical, archaeological, cultural, and scientific value. The mysterious Tang dynasty, noble tomb in Shaanxi, China. Archaeologists in Shaanxi province, China, made a spectacular discovery when they excavated an ancient tomb dating back to the Tang dynasty, 618 to 907 AD. This was not only a significant historical find, but also a journey into the fascinating stories of art, belief, and life during one of China's golden eras. After years of excavation, the archaeologists began to reveal some of the mysteries of this tomb. The first thing that astonished them was the entrance gate, decorated with swirling plant motifs, characteristic of Tang dynasty art. These details not only demonstrated meticulous craftsmanship, but also reflected the spiritual beliefs of the time, blending nature with contemporary culture. Beside the gate stood a pair of statues clad in robes, standing solemnly. These figures likely served as guardians of the tomb, a reminder of the spiritual world's presence and supernatural powers. Deeper inside, the archaeologists discovered a passage leading to the main burial chamber. Notably, the ceiling of this passage was cone-shaped and adorned with paintings of 4 mythical creatures from Chinese mythology. Among them were a dragon, symbolizing supreme power, and a phoenix, representing rebirth and prosperity. These images were not merely decorative, but embodied profound spiritual values in Tang dynasty culture. Inside the main burial chamber, the archaeologists were again amazed by the exquisite wall paintings. The vibrant murals depicted various scenes of daily life, from people strolling through peaceful countryside to lush green tree canopies overhead. This style, known as paintings beneath the tree canopy, was a hallmark of Tang art, emphasizing natural harmony and integration with the surrounding environment. These murals were not only beautiful works of art, but also stories about people, their relationship with nature, and the cosmos. What made the tomb even more mysterious was the combination of bright colors used in the murals. Whites, reds, yellows, blacks, greens, and oranges brought the images on the walls and ceilings to life, showcasing the advanced painting techniques of the Tang era. These colors were not just aesthetic choices, but also likely held symbolic meanings connected to natural and cosmic elements, bridging the earthly world with the spiritual realm. Though the tomb was dated to the 8th century, the identity of its occupant remains unknown. Some speculate it belonged to an important figure of the Tang dynasty. Others even suggest that the artist behind the murals might be the same person who decorated the tomb of Shenji, the founding king of the Ming kingdom during the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms period. This adds to the tomb's mystery and draws great attention from archaeologists and history enthusiasts alike. This ancient tomb is not only a vivid testament to the cultural and artistic achievements of Tang China, but also a treasure trove of mysteries about people, life, and beliefs from over 1,000 years ago. In short, these discoveries offer a clear window into a glorious era of history. What do you think about these findings? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. The twisted remains of the longest reigning emperor of the Ming dynasty, China. Did you know that the longest reigning emperor of the Ming dynasty in China was Emperor Shenzong, also known as the Wanli Emperor? He ascended the throne at the age of 10 and single-handedly presided over a prosperous era for the Ming dynasty. In 1956, experts decided to excavate the Ming-Ding tomb, the burial site of the Wanli Emperor. It took 2 years under the leadership of Guo Moruo for the archaeological work to be completed. Due to the limited technology at that time, the process was extremely labor-intensive. At the site, they discovered a large number of burial objects, including jade and silk fabrics. Unfortunately, the experts back then lacked sufficient experience and understanding to properly preserve these artifacts. As a result, many cultural relics rapidly oxidized and deteriorated upon exposure to air, causing significant losses. As time passed, archaeologists finally reached the deepest chamber where they found the coffin that concealed the emperor's remains. The coffins of Emperor Shenzong and his 2 empresses were placed on an underground palace bed. Nearby were 26 red-lacquered wooden boxes filled with burial goods. The emperor's coffin was enormous, about 5.9 feet tall, and filled with many funerary items. By the time of excavation, over 300 years had passed since the emperor was buried. Inside, the smell was overwhelming, and the body had decomposed, leaving only some hardened, uncorroded bones. Archaeologists were stunned to discover the body in a very unusual position. Instead of being laid flat on his back like a typical burial, the emperor's remains were twisted in an almost unbelievable way. Why such a strange posture? Some archaeologists suggested that the body was originally placed normally but shifted during transportation. However, this idea was quickly dismissed because the burial items were neatly arranged inside the coffin, indicating there had been no disturbance. After further study, experts concluded that the twisted posture was deliberate. In ancient beliefs, the Big Dipper constellation Beidou was considered the resting place of emperors after death. Thus, the emperor's body was positioned to resemble the shape of the Big Dipper. Moreover, not only Emperor Wanli's posture, but also the layout of all Ming Dynasty imperial tombs was designed according to this constellation. From this, it can be inferred that beyond Emperor Wanli, the burial positions of other Ming emperors were also arranged to reflect the Big Dipper's shape. What do you think about this? Personally, I find this emperor's story quite tragic. Mascal grave from a horrific massacre over 4,100 years ago. In northeast China, near Heilongjiang province, a shocking archaeological discovery in the 1990s captured the attention of researchers worldwide. This mass grave, estimated to be around 4,100 years old, was uncovered at the Honghe Archaeological site. Archaeologists excavated dozens of skeletons, primarily of women and children, all of whom had been decapitated, a finding unprecedented in previous excavations and chilling to many. The brutality of this discovery immediately sparked theories. Some researchers propose it may indicate a religious ritual, while others suspect it reflects a violent conflict between tribes during the Neolithic period. Among the 68 skeletons found, 41 were headless, and although some skulls were discovered in surrounding areas, most of the bodies lacked their heads. Current analyses suggest these skeletons, predominantly women and children, were likely victims of an attack by a rival tribe. Some theories propose the tribe was ambushed while the men were away from the camp. Notably, 32 of the skeletons in the mass grave showed signs of brutal torture, suggesting they were killed during a raid. It is likely that after the attack, the surviving men buried the victims in separate pits before permanently abandoning the area. This discovery has not only drawn the attention of anthropologists, but also raised questions about violence among ancient tribes. Some hypothesize that the decapitations may have been part of religious rituals, where victors sought to absorb the souls of their enemies to gain strength. The Honghe tribe, around 4,100 years ago, is believed to have been a hunter-fisher community with a defensive system around their living area. Ongoing research continues to investigate the true cause of this brutality, though many theories remain speculative. Nevertheless, the discovery of this mass grave remains a chilling tale, reminding us of the mysteries and fears embedded in humanity's past. Perfectly preserved food, found in an ancient Chinese tomb. In 1959, archaeologists in Xinjiang, China, conducted an excavation of an ancient tomb in Turpan and made a fascinating discovery. Inside the tomb, experts found dumplings that were remarkably well preserved, despite having been sleeping underground for thousands of years. What's especially surprising is that these dumplings still retain their original shape and color, looking almost identical to the dumplings we see today. Quite an unexpected find, isn't it? Dumplings are not unfamiliar food. They have been popular and widely enjoyed in China for thousands of years, especially loved by people in the western regions. Besides the dumplings, archaeologists also uncovered other types of pastries in the tomb, such as mooncakes, sweet cakes, and various desserts, showing that the cuisine of that time was rich and diverse. According to experts, one key factor that helped preserve these foods so well is the climate in the Xinjiang area. With its hot and dry weather, the foods lost moisture quickly, which helped keep them from decaying or changing over thousands of years. Additionally, based on the types of food found in the tomb, experts believe the tomb's owner was likely a wealthy individual. Ancient people often believed that after death, they would live a prosperous and comfortable life in the afterworld. For this reason, they buried their loved ones with favorite items, food, clothing, and valuable possessions, hoping the deceased would continue to enjoy a full life even after passing. What do you think about this ancient Chinese custom? Personally, I find it fascinating. This discovery not only gives us deeper insight into ancient culinary culture, but also opens interesting reflections on the beliefs and traditions of people from long ago. You see, China always holds many mysteries, and no matter how much time passes, stories about them continue to spark our curiosity and amazement, especially in ancient tombs, where not only valuable treasures are buried, but also untold historical stories and secrets waiting to be revealed. Every excavation, every discovery opens up a whole new world, making us appreciate and cherish even more the amazing cultural and historical values of this country. So, how about you? What impresses you most about China? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. For now, goodbye, and see you next time.